Hello, and thanks for joining us. My name is David Penn. I'm a research analyst with Finovate. And joining me is Gina Armada. She is CEO of MHC. Gina, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, David. I'm happy to be here.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to talk about quite a few things, get some information out about MHC for folks who might not be familiar with the company. I thought maybe to start off, you could tell us just a little bit about yourself and what MHC does.
Sure. Thank you. So at MHC, we specialize in helping regulated industries communicate more efficiently and effectively with their customers to remain compliant, deliver critical documents and communications, and overall help them reach those audiences and increase their lifetime value with their customers.
Very interesting. It's interesting. We're at a time now when communications is everywhere of all our different applications and things like that. But the challenges faced by industries that have very strict compliance issues are really, really different. So it's really interesting to have you here to talk about some of those. I thought we could start off with sort of a big picture question, talking particularly about AI, which is all the rage in financial services. Can you talk a little bit about how AI is reshaping interactions between financial institutions and their customers?
Yes, it's funny, isn't it? AI is everywhere in every conversation. But ultimately, we believe that AI will fundamentally change how banks communicate with their customers. For years, communications were static, statements, disclosures, notices that we receive, all delivered in one direction. And with AI and advanced technology changes, that paradigm shifts, making interactions dynamic, personalized in real time across digital or physical channels, however they're being delivered, based on customers' preferences and the increase in data that we have about customers. So AI is improving efficiency, it's elevating customer engagement through that natural language inquiry, through validating data, overall reducing manual effort within the financial institutions we support. And it can even adjust tone, sentiment, language, making communications clearer, more inclusive, more engaging, of course, adhering to compliance regulations. And I'm really excited about the future where the next evolution is really going to be about predictive communications, anticipating what's next, answering that question before the question even arrives. And of course, when we get to that point as an overall industry, compliance, accuracy, security, reliability, those will remain paramount.
Absolutely. We're going to talk a little bit more about that a little bit later, as well as some of the points you brought up about data. But I thought we could talk about compliance and risk just a little bit more. We talked about the importance of communications in regulated industries. It seems that a lot of times financial institutions have a challenge and they struggle between, on the one hand, the strict compliance requirements that they have, and at the same time, the push for personalization and some of the things you mentioned that AI, for example, can bring. How does MHC help financial institutions sort of navigate the balance between those two very, very important parts?
Great question, and balance is a key word in what you asked. So in regulated industries like the financial institutions that we support, compliance can't be an afterthought. It has to be designed into every step. So our solutions at MHC for financial institutions embed compliance from document creation through approvals, through delivery of those communications. And at the same time, we enable personalization within those boundaries. And that's powered by robust data transformation and aggregation functionality, where we can pull data from multiple sources, make sure it's valid and clean to support those personalized messages, which makes them engaging, accurate, yet still compliant. And that balance gives organizations the confidence to innovate without adding risk.
Excellent. One of the things I think is a challenge for a lot of institutions is just the sheer pace of technological change and customer adoption. When we think about communications options, it seems like a new one popping up almost every other year that people are just obsessed with using, and then businesses have to struggle with the fact that that's something that people want to use. I wonder, how does MHC help companies, operations teams, sort of enable the agility that enables them to meet some of those customer expectations faster?
Right. It is a common challenge. Uh, Banks and other financial institutions, they often depend on IT teams, sometimes often overburdened IT teams, or sometimes outsourced providers for even small updates to their communications. And that can slow everything down. We hear so many times when organizations are struggling with minor wording or minor graphics changes taking 4 to 5 weeks. So, where we focus our attention is changing that dynamic. Our platform automates routine tasks and empowers business users via simple drag and drop user interfaces. So users can leverage AI if they want to simplify design, validation, and personalization. But really, it's those business and operational users who are empowered to manage the communications directly themselves. And what that does, they're closer to the business, they're closer to the need and their customers. That frees up IT to focus on strategy and innovative advancements. And the business teams can then go ahead and gain that agility to improve the customer experience, keep those communications flowing, accurate, compliant, without any of those delays or bottlenecks.
Very interesting. A moment ago, you talked a little bit about the data capture and the importance of that. A lot of financial institutions struggle to capture some of that information during basic, critical even processes, onboarding, things like that. How is MHC sort of reimagining the capture of information from customers to improve efficiency, improve security, and overall enhance the customer experience?
Yes, if you think about the first interaction with a bank, forms are often that first touch point with the customer, whether it's account openings, loan applications, card requests. But in many banks, there's still static PDFs or even paper. And I just personally went through this with my supporting my daughters recently. So at MHC, our interactive forms solution turns those interactions, those first experiences that are so critical for setting the that long-term relationship with an organization. We turn those interactions into dynamic digital experiences. And enables real-time data validation. It's it guides the user through a complex transaction, sometimes using language that people don't understand. And you can't always describe that and define things in a paper form or a static form. And then we directly integrate with core systems, which allows banks and financial institutions to be more efficient because nobody's taking that data and then re-entering it into core business systems. So the results, errors are reduced, they've got higher quality, processing is more efficient, it's faster, so that cycle time is faster, and get those customers operating at the bank and using bank services even faster. And of course, then those customers are experiencing something that's far better. And we know with the digital native generation that's, they grew up using digital resources and mobile applications and phones and all of that, it's really important to get those first interactions correct.
It's a really, really, I think, important point that we often overlook, that the very first interaction, first impression, as they say, often tells everything for an individual. And when there's so
Absolutely.
many choices out there, you really don't want to get it wrong that first time because it's so easy in a digital world to just go someplace else. I thought maybe that your remarks there really kind of take us to my sort of final question, talking about legacy infrastructure and older technologies that are still being used by so many institutions to power their operations. For those institutions that realize that they're ready to make that move and modernize their communications processes with customers, what are some of the ways the MSC can sort of support their goals in making that transformation?
Yeah, it is really an important question and a common topic we talk about here at MHC as we're supporting our customers, and that's modernization. It's a challenge we hear from most financial institutions, at least those that are outside of the AI native startups that are more newer to the space. But replacing some legacy systems is outright expensive sometimes, and it can be risky, it can be disruptive. And so At MHC, we take a flexible and different approach. We can integrate with existing systems and layer on automation, AI, digital delivery. And that enables banks to modernize quickly, securely, extend the value of their current solutions and investments, and yet still unlock new innovation without the full pain of an entire rip and replacement. However, when there are underlying customer communication systems that are part of that communication stack or that technology stack, and when those systems are rigid, they limit agility, they require IT developers to take action to get anything done. Again, if we go back to the beginning of our interview, the 4 to 5 weeks to make a simple change. In those cases, that's when we help organizations calculate the return and really embrace the freedom of migrating to a modern, flexible platform that allows them to communicate with their customers more efficiently, more effectively, and really truly enable their growth.
Very interesting. And it's really great to hear that you really sort of take these financial institutions where they are, understanding that it's just can be challenging, it can be scary, but at the same time, their customers are there and they want to do this. They want to be able to have these sort of communications. And in regulated industries, you really, really have to get it right. Every now and then, we'll see in the newspaper some really unfortunate story about an institution that got it wrong, and that can just be calamitous, it seems.
And so, of course, in any regulated industry, leveraging technology requires that discipline. The thinking about security and compliance are first and foremost, right? And so, whether you're going to leverage, some organizations are choosing not to leverage any AI. That's okay, right? Like that. That's some are going to start there. That's those are decisions that need to be made. But some of the communication gaps that are happening right now aren't even they're even simpler than that. And
Wow,
organizations need that agility to be able to communicate more effectively, adapt quickly, right? We know this is a world of change, and we
absolutely.
all need to be more nimble and agile as we communicate with our customers, whether we're going to the advanced technology of leveraging AI or we're simply leveraging automation that empowers better communications more efficiently.
Excellent. That's a very excellent point and a great point for us to conclude on. Thank you very much for spending some time with us and helping us get to know a little bit more about MHC and the work that you do. We're looking forward to finding out more about what you do over the weeks and months to come.
Thank you. Thanks,
Great.
David.
Great. And thank you for joining us.